Hello everyone, welcome to Mathematics in the Modern World. Let's talk all about the symbolic arguments. Before we proceed to our discussions, I would like to introduce our group: Gialin Inday, Stephen Earl Samuya, Kevin Jake Min Chavez, and Allen Mandawi. So again, our topic is all about symbolic arguments. Arguments. In this section, we considered methods of analyzing arguments to determine whether they are valid or invalid. For instance, consider the following argument. If Aristotle was human, then Aristotle was mortal. Aristotle was human, therefore Aristotle was mortal. To determine whether the above argument is valid argument, we must first define the terms argument and valid argument. An argument and a valid argument, it consists of a set of statements called premises and another statement called the conclusion. An argument is valid if the conclusion is true whenever all premises are assumed to be true. The argument is invalid if it is not a valid argument. In the argument about Aristotle, the two premises and the conclusion are shown below. It is customary to place a horizontal line between the premises and the conclusion. So the first premises is, if Aristotle was human, then Aristotle was mortal. The second premises, Aristotle was human. The conclusion, therefore Aristotle was mortal. So the arguments can be written in a symbolic form. For instance, if we let each represent the statement Aristotle was human and M represent the statement Aristotle was mortal, then the argument can be expressed as the three dots are symbol for therefore. Sample. So we have the statement, the fish is fresh, or I will order it. The fish is fresh, therefore I will order it. So the solution is, let us represent the F as a statement of the fish is fresh, and let us O represent the statement I will order it. The symbolic form of the argument is So let's proceed to the arguments and truth tables. The following truth table procedure can be used to determine whether an argument is valid or invalid. First, write the argument in symbolic form. Second, construct a truth table that shows the truth value of each premises and the truth value of the conclusion for all combinations of true values of the simple statements. Third, if the conclusion is true in every row of the truth table in which all the premises are true, the argument is valid. If the conclusion is false in any row in which all of the premises are true, the argument is invalid. We will now use the above truth table procedure to determine the validity of the argument about Aristotle. Once again, we let H represent the statement Aristotle was human, and M represent the statement Aristotle was mortal. In a symbolic form, the argument is. So let's proceed to the example number 2. Construct a truth table as shown below. So as you can see the table, we have the first premises, second premises, and the conclusion. So the first column for the first premises we have true, the second premises true, and the conclusion is true. The second column in the first premises we have false, second premises true, for the conclusion false. In the third column for the first premises we have false, the second premises false, for the conclusion true. In the fourth column for the first premises true, the second premises false, and for the conclusion false. So as you can see, row 1 is the only row 1 with all the premises are true. So it is the only row that we examined because the conclusion is true. In row 1, the argument is valid. Now, I will discuss on how to construct the truth table using the negation, conjunction, and disjunction. So, this video, I will discuss on how to construct the truth table. So, using the negation, conjunction, and disjunction. So kinahanglan nato mabal-an ni ang unsaon pag-construct sa truth table para mabal-an nato kung unsay pasabot sa symbolic arguments. So let's start to the negation. So negation, not opposite true value from the statement. So kaning not is pasabot ni isang negation. So for example sa kaning table, so ang imong statement P is nagpasabot ni nga true. So unsa may opposite ani nga P? Sa ato ni siyang butangan ang not P. So in the first column, if ang statement P nimo is true, so ang opposite ana sa statement 2 is false. Muna siya. So in the last column is the statement P is false, therefore the opposite of false is true. So inga na ra siya ang paggamit sa negation. So let's proceed to the conjunction. So this conjunction is ang pasabot na is and. So ang symbolize is kaning V nga nakaduko. So according to the definition, this conjunction is makita ra nimo ang true if ang duha ka statement nimo is parehang true. For example, this table. So we have the three statement here, the statement P, statement Q, and the statement P and Q. So in the first column, the statement P is true, and the statement Q is true. Therefore, the statement P and Q is true. In the second column, the statement P is true, and the statement Q is false. Therefore, the statement P and Q is false. And also, the third column is statement P is false, statement Q is true. Therefore, the statement P and Q is false. And the last is the statement P is false and the statement Q is false. Therefore, the statement P and Q is false. So, kani siyang conjunction is ari siya nag-focus sa false sa true. Muna siya nga ang paggamit sa conjunction sa truth table. So, let's proceed to the disjunction. So, this disjunction is given by the operation of or. So, ang pasabutan ng or kaning V nga symbol. So, disjunction or only false when both statement are false. So ang pasabot ani makita ra nimo ang false statement if katong duha ka book statement nimo is false. So katong uban na mga kuan statement is true na to sila. For example, kaning table. So we have the three statement here, the P, statement P, statement Q, and the statement P or Q. So in the first column, the statement P is true and the statement Q is true, and the statement P or Q is true. Okay, true man siya. So the statement P is true and the statement Q is false. Therefore, the statement P or Q is true gihapon na siya. Di na siya pareha sa conjunction hanga. Statement true, statement false, no. Nag-focus niya sa false. Pangitaw na to ang false. So in the third column, statement P is false and statement Q is true. Therefore, this is true. So makita ra na nimo ang false gamit ang disjunction kani nga column. If the statement P is false and statement Q is false, therefore the statement P or Q is false. Ano siya mag-focus? So akong balikon ha. Ang negation, ang gamit niya is ang opposite of the statement. So, ang imong negation is false. So, ang imong pika statement is true. So, kani siya, true. So, ang opposite sa true is false. So, mo to siya. So, kaning conjunction is nag-focus niya siya sa true statement. So, nakita siya sa true statement. Makita na nimo ang true statement if ang imong nakabuk statement is true. Bisag true pa ni dire niya, false dire, false gyapon na siya kay nagamit man kag conjunction. So, again, the disjunction is false. So, kung true man ganin dire or false dire, so true na siya kay nagamit man kag disjunction nga table. So, makita ra nimo ang false if pareha silang false ang duha ka statement. So, mo ni siya. So, for example, using the definition of negation, conjunction, and disjunction, let P and Q represent the following simple statement. So we have the two statements here. The statement P is 10 is greater than 4, and the statement Q is the 3 is less than 5. So kabalo ta nga kaning duha ka statement is true ni siya. So determine the true value for each statement. So to for example kani. Problem number 1 is P and Q. So ug atong gamiton ang conjunction table. So balik sa conjunction table. Ug atong tanawon ang statement, problem number 1 is statement P is true and statement Q is true. So therefore the problem number 1 is true. For the example number 2, we have the negation. So using the negation, ang pasambot ani nga negation is not P. So ano not P. Atong gamiton is kaning conjunction table. So not P and Q. So moingon ganitag not P, so this is false. And Q, kung tanang natin diri ang Q, true ni siya kay di man siya not. So false and T, tanaw na to dito sa conjunction table, false ug T, so equals false. So therefore the problem number 2 is false. So ingana siya. So let's proceed to the problem number 3. So this statement is we are using the statement P or not Q. So this statement P or, so nagamit niya siyang or, so which is the disjunction table. So magamit na tao disjunction table. Atong gamito na nga table is kaning disjunction. So as you can see, the P is true. P muna to siyang true. So or the not Q, so it means kaning not Q is false ni siya. Therefore, kung imong tanawon sa disjunction table, ang true, ang statement 1 is true and statement 2 is false. Therefore, the problem number 3 is true. So true ang example number 3. So ingana ang pag-construct sa true table using this negation, conjunction, and disjunction. So symbolic arguments, we have more example on how to write the symbolic arguments. So for the example number 1 to be discussed by Jialin Inday, for the example number 2 to be discussed by Steven R. Samoya, for the example number 3 to be discussed by Kevin Jakeman Chavez, and for the example number 4 to be discussed by Alin Mandawi.
Try to have an example on how to translate argument statement into a symbolic form. So the instruction is, in the exercise, is use the indicated letter to write each argument in symbolic form. So for number 1, we have the statement, if you can read this bumper sticker, you're too close. You can read the bumper sticker, therefore you're too close. We have the first statement, which is the first sentence. This is, if you can read this bumper sticker, you're too close. Ang kanina statement kay F, unya statement. That's why we have the word F, the V, and then the P, and then the comma, and then ang Q. Ang you can read this bumper sticker, ang representatives ani for symbolic form. Kay R, letter R, so kani maoy iyahang gamiton equivalent sa word as a statement na you can read this bumper sticker. So next statement, which is the Q statement, ang you're too close kay C. The first statement sa number 1, mao ang first premise. So, mao ni ang usa ka premise. Ang next premise na sad, or ang second premise kay ang you can read the bumper sticker and then therefore we're too close ang conclusion. So, ang conclusion is represented by the word therefore. That's why mauni ang atong conclusion. So, unsaon man nato pag-translate into symbolic form. So, let's consider first the first sentence. If you can read this bumper sticker are you're too close C. So, this is an if then statement, meaning ang connective na atong gamiton kay arrow, going to the right arrow. Ang first statement nato dili ang P o Q ang atong gamiton, kay ang gibutang na gamiton kay R o C. Mao ni na F, R, then C. RF, then statement, o bisag wala na ingani gyapon ang atong gamiton kay ang F, then statement na form or the conditional form kay F, P, and Q, or any first sentence sa number 1. So, mao ni ang first premise nato. Mao ni ang first premise. So, the next sentence says that you can read the bumper sticker. Now, remember na you can read the bumper sticker represent sa letter R. So, ato isuwat sa ubos sa F, R, then C, and R, which is the next statement na you can read the bumper sticker, which represents letter R. So, therefore, ang therefore ay nag-represent sa tulo ka dot or ingani na symbol. So, therefore, you're too close na statement nag-represent sa symbol or letter C. So, therefore, C. So, any symbolic form or statement sa atong number 1 statement kay ingani F, R, then C. R, therefore, C. So, mao ni ang answer nato.
Number 3 statement. So, I am going shopping or I am going to the museum. I went to the museum, therefore I did not go shopping. So, now, remember, ang connective dito ay yung or. Or. So, the symbolic form of or is V. Parang ganito. So, the inverted one is an. Ito yung an. At ito yung or. So, ang gamitin natin dito ay V. Represents the or. So, the first phrase is I am going shopping. So, S. The second phrase is I am going to the museum. M. So, this is the first premises. So, the second premises is I went to the museum, therefore, I did not go shopping. So, I went to the museum represents the M. Therefore, I did not go shopping. Therefore, the I did not go shopping represents the letter S. So, the second phrase is I went to the museum. Ilagay natin yung M. So, therefore, now, remember the not negation form. I did not go shopping. So, S. So, this is the answer of number 3, symbolic argument.
So we have an example on how to translate an argument statement into a symbolic form. And instruction details adding given exercise. So use the indicated letters to write each argument in symbolic form. So for number 4, we have this statement of if it's now S, then I did not go to my chemistry class. Not C, I went to my chemistry class. Therefore, it did not snow. So, considering the first statement as the first premise. So, if it's not, di ba may word tayo na F. So, this is an F then statement na ibig sabihin ay connective non-first statement and arrow not going to the right. If it's node S, meaning your first natin na letter dito is S. And then, I did not go to my chemistry class. Not C kasi meron tayong not na word. Kaya ito yung negation natin. So, represent a second phrase sa first sentence in F, S, and then not C. So, ito yung first premise natin. So, second premise naman ay I went to my chemistry class. Diba? Yung kanina, I did not go to my chemistry class. So, which is the negation of C. Ngayon, wala nang not na word. So, I went to my chemistry class. So, ibig sabihin, mawawala na yung symbol na negation na ito. Ito. Ang maiiwan na lang yung C. Kaya ito yung second premise natin. Therefore, it did not snow. Okay, yung first statement, ang sabi dito, if it snowed. Therefore, yung conclusion natin ay negation. Yung it snowed, diba it snowed na representa na letter S. Therefore, ang conclusion natin is not S. Kasi meron itong ginagamit na word na not. So, just remember, kung may nakikita kayo na sa statement or sa phrase automatic, that is a negation. Gagamit lang tayo ng symbol ng negation na ganito or yan. So it depends. May book na ginagamit ito ito. So nasa inyo na yan. So our answer natin sa number 4 is ito. The first premise, the second premise, and this one is the conclusion. So that's it for our topic about argument in symbolic form.